East Riddlesden Hall in West Yorkshire, England, is considered one of Britain's most haunted houses. While at the hall, YouTuber Roman Joe took a video of the old barn to send to her partner. When she watched it back, she noticed something strange. Let's take a look. Did you see it? Watch the window to the left of the carriage. Something seems to block the light for a moment. The YouTuber believes it's a spirit passing by the window. If it's true that no one was on site, to me the only thing that could explain this is if that window had a shutter that just so happened to move with the wind at the same moment that the camera pans past. Otherwise, this is for sure the Grey Lady, and I think they should get out of there immediately. A paranormal team led by Derek Reese sits around the old family room of a haunted house in an undisclosed location. One of them must be sensitive to spirits because he asks them if they feel anything, and maybe he accidentally channels something into the room.
Oh my god, don't mess with my face. No, I'm not.
You can see everyone except for one person when the knock happens, but her hands are in her lap under a pillow, so no, it's not her. Later on, they are looking at old videos when two visual artifacts appear. One is pink and one is green, and neither of them will go away no matter what they try. And that's when they hear creepy singing and a deep voice say something like, "Get away from the door." The audio is pretty low quality, but what do you hear? Have you ever seen something out of place reflected in the window? Posted to the haunted subreddit by Please Recycle Those. This Redditor did, and he is wondering what these are. The Redditor explains in the comments that his dog heard a sound downstairs, so he followed the dog down with the camera rolling. As he is panning across a dining room area, when he captures his own reflection in the window. Panning past, something strange is reflected behind the cameraman in the window reflection. The Redditor is wondering if it's an arm. Some in the comments say it could be a ponytail, but the Redditor has short hair. Others think it's a fast-moving ghost or something leaving the scene. What do you think it is? Whatever it might be, it'll knock your socks off. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Project Bad 720, this Redditor wrote, "We moved out of our last house cause the activity was getting out of hand. Now it's acting up again." The Redditor also included that they're in West Texas. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about. There was certainly some discussion about this video in the comments. Creepy Girl Tia wrote, "Sounds like you have brought something that a spirit is attached to, that you brought to your new place, or the spirit is attached to you." And Fiery Witchburn 333 has a similar sentiment saying, "The houses aren't haunted, you are. Seek help." And the uploader responded saying, "I actually believe I am being followed, so this makes sense. Do you think that's what's going on here? Let me know in the comments." Fear Hides Here, published to YouTube in July of 2021, this investigative team encountered something sinister. While investigating in broad daylight, the crew only just enters the creepy abandoned house when a scary loud racket is heard.
Um mau cheiro insuportável.
Nossa, pelo amor de Deus. Mas nem chegamos aqui, o que foi isso?
Something is thrown against the wall in another room and sounds like it breaks apart. In one room, the investigators break out an EMF sensor, which starts beeping dramatically when it's held up toward one part of the ceiling.
Cara, será que dá pra olhar aqui em cima aqui, ó? Bom, parei.
One of the crew boosts another up to the crawl space in the ceiling to see what's triggering the device. It looks like the crawl space was being lived in at one point, as a pair of shoes and a book or pamphlet is up there amongst the soot and garbage. As they realize the book is a diary, banging is heard in the next room. Something is opening and closing the door.
Tá cheio de nome, mano.
Caramba, cara.
Foi isso, cara?
Não sei, foi só pegar isso aqui, ó.
Olha aqui a porta, cara. Olha a porta.
Nossa, velho. Que isso, mano?
It looks like the hidden figure doesn't want that diary to be read. The cameraman checks outside, but there's nothing. A short while later, another bang is heard, and that's when the diary spontaneously combusts. Cameraman is holding the diary when a corner of the paper catches fire. He throws it to the ground in surprise.
Ô, vamos ficar esperto, porque aqui é eternite, mano. Se vai alguma coisa.
Olha lá, ali, ó, tá caindo ali, ó.
Caramba, cara.
Ei, ô, o negócio...
Oxe, velho.
Pegou fogo do nada?
When he picks it back up, a glass breaks in the next room.
Nossa, cara.
Cara, o negócio começou a pegar fogo aqui
Tem
do
uma
nada.
coisa chegada atrás, não seu menino?
Tem uns símbolos aqui, ó.
Ali, ó.
O que tá escrito aí em volta desse símbolo?
Mas que parou, o que é isso?
Velho.
Causing him to throw it down again. When they gain the courage to pick it up again, another bang is heard, although its source remains unseen.
Tinha um Lúcio Te Adoro por aqui. Toma, filho.
Cara.
Oi, que é isso? Puta que
Nossa,
pariu.
mano. As abelhas.
Mano, será que esse...
Nossa, mano.
They enter another room, clearly afraid of what's going on around them and the entity that they've made angry.
Será que esse...
Sai da porta, espera se esconder um pouco, velho.
Que jeito, cara? Aqui, o negócio tá caindo aqui, velho. Aqui, ó.
Aqui é laje, vem aqui, aqui é laje. Vem pra cá.
Puta que pariu, a casa vai cair, mano.
Feio, a gente ficou... Vai ficar preso aqui um tempo, mano.
Later, they are simply standing in a room capturing video when a fire lights beneath one crew member's feet unbeknownst to him.
E agora, velho?
Tá pegando fogo aí, feio.
Another runs towards him and pulls him away, and the fire goes out on its own. For the grand finale, they enter the main room, and one of the crew appears to see something in a gap in the roof. A scary shadow leaves the gap as something breaks, causing the crew to vacate the premises ASAP.
Caraca, feio.
Mano, vamos como é que nós... E agora, cara?
Ali, ó. Puta que pariu.
Nossa, mano.
Nossa, velho. Vai, sai,
Corre.
Vai, cara.
Sai.
What was in that diary? Something incriminating? We'll never know because the spirit doesn't want us to. A YouTuber named Ponji Petualan is searching for frogs with his friends late at night along with anything else they can find. The team has their head down to look for prey, but at 21 minutes and 4 seconds, Ponji looks up for the briefest of moments and catches this bipedal creature as it sprints away from the light. It happens so fast that they don't even appear to see it at first. It appears to be a pale white and instinctively flees from the light, which makes sense for a nocturnal creature to do. It does not make a sound as it moves, despite being the size of a human and a very close distance away. This footage was apparently found inside the Penhurst Asylum, which is a real abandoned place located in Pennsylvania. The footage contains 2 students exploring the clearly abandoned building, and while nothing too bizarre happens in this footage, the backstory and timing are enough to make you scream. The 2 student explorers were never seen again after this. Well, that is terrifying enough. I want you to focus on the timestamp in the corner. Notice how they are ending up in new spots in the asylum at a faster and faster rate. Near the end of the video, the pair end up in the forest at a rate where the speed they are traveling is simply inhuman. What do you think is happening here? If this footage is real, then it is a case where the happenings would never be believed, if not for it being recorded. Dark Mystic is the name of a paranormal YouTuber in Russia who intends on exploring an abandoned cottage home in the middle of some pretty scary woods late at night. He wants to determine what kind of paranormal entities haunt this abandoned building, and he's certain he's caught creepy things on camera. He finds a room with half the walls covered in newspaper clippings. They look to have been carefully cut out and are not overlapping, which to me means they were meant to be read instead of part of a remodeling project or something like that. If you speak Russian, what do these headlines say? I can't help but suspect this is a trophy room and someone is proud of making the news.
Кто здесь?
He hears somebody cough, but nothing is there. It's creepy, but the paranormal activity really picks up when he goes exploring the haunted attic.
Купил на это. Нет, я же там был. Что такое может быть?
He keeps hearing objects getting thrown around, dropped, or otherwise moving on their own. And when Dark Mystic goes to check what they are, something moves into the doorway as if rolled into place by a ghostly hand. Dark Mystic is certain that something paranormal is toying with him and arms himself. He may be right, but I'm not sure what use a blunt force instrument would be on something not of this world, a being made of shadows that peeks at him from around the door. Listen closely, you might not be hearing things. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, the Redditor explains that she was home alone with her daughter, watching a kid's show when she heard an old man clearing his throat and speaking in the background of the video she was filming.
Come on.
Many others in the thread hear the voice too, with Redditor temperamental elements saying it sounds like the man says, "What?" The Redditor asks, do you have any male relatives that have passed? Maybe they're back to see your baby girl. Boss said that the child's great-grandpa had passed away a little over a year ago. Perhaps great-grandpa is reaching out. Should they reach back? In January of 2018, this emergency message was broadcasted to everyone in the entire state of Hawaii.
A missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill.
What's more alarming is how everyone seems to ignore the emergency directions that are instructing them to pull over. Bethany and the vehicle in front of her continue to drive, even when told by the radio to stop. Although, to be completely fair, they could have been on a one-lane road with nowhere safe to pull over.
If you are driving, pull safely to the side of the road and seek shelter in a building or lay on the floor. We will announce when the threat has ended.
The broadcast puts the entire island into a panic, and I feel like this live stream video summarizes everyone's reaction perfectly. The first stage is a sort of disbelief, and the need to confirm it's really happening.
Oh gosh, what happened? Did you guys get that? Did you not get that? There's an emergency ballistic missile threat.
The next stage is acceptance that this is real, which leads to scrambling for a plan, even in the face of total obliteration.
Oh my god! What do we do?
And the final stage is panicking at the realization that all hope is lost, that your life is about to truly end. The urge to run somewhere, anywhere, sets in even though it's clear nothing can be done.
Babe, what do we do?
As it turns out, this broadcast was a major mistake made by staff at a military command post. There was nothing this time, but based on these videos and countless others, I don't think we would really do as well as we would like to think in the face of an actual catastrophe. A man from Calgary is heading into work after a long Canadian Thanksgiving weekend when he sees the screen to the window has been pulled off and set carefully next to the door. Fearing an intruder, he plays back the security camera footage and finds something even scarier.
Creepy.
The screen is tightly secured, but then it pops out all by itself and lands perfectly upright. A gust of wind that strong should also move this object across a table, which it does not, so I vote ghost. Just like he says, it's beyond creepy.
Creepy.
While spraying holy water in his house to rid of the manifestations, YouTuber Thiago Ferracao experiences a few more.
Se tiver algum espírito aqui, eu expulso você da minha casa.
Ai, Jesus! Ai, meu Deus!
Não aceito você na minha casa, não aceito!
Meu Deus do céu!
He continues in the kitchen, where more activity occurs.
Ai, preso em nome de Jesus Cristo! Ai, meu Deus! Sai daqui! Você viu isso?
Lago do céu!
Você viu isso?
Later, they burn the possessed doll that they believe is the source of these manifestations, and it doesn't like being burnt.
O negócio fazendo maldade pra nós. Vai embora. O que você acha? É isso?
Ah! Tiago do céu! Que isso? Meu Deus do céu! Amor do céu!
What was that insane blast? I think the demon that possessed her was just exorcised from the doll's body. But for everyone watching, beware. Now it must find a new home. A camera pans across a white room filled with antique furniture and creepy collectibles, which is already bad enough, but when it stops at a tall old mirror, they seem surprised to find a childlike silhouette filling out the frame. As they are studying the child in their shaky gaze, a pair of identical orbs float above her head as two pinpoints of light become barely visible, almost like she is turning her head slightly. I guess this shadow child could simply be a large doll. However, even if this was the case, as far as I'm aware, only the eyes of the living can reflect light like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lifeless doll should never have glowing eyes. The person recording sees the eyes and tears up the steps in a hurry. They would later refer to the event only as the girl with sparkling eyes in the dark. Kazakhstan is a country with 3 mountain regions said to hold many strange secrets. One such secret can be found by satellite on Google Earth, and it's creepy beyond belief. The lines connect to form a pentagram within a circle. No one knows why someone put such a symbol out in the middle of nowhere. It's either a hoax or an actual summoning circle right by a large body of water, which, if you believe in rituals, could be a necessary element for whatever is being cast. So let me know if you think this weird symbol was made for evil purposes or just for attention. Something tells me this was never meant to be discovered. Mutations are not an uncommon occurrence amongst calves, but they are rare enough where witnessing one might surprise you. This calf was born in Villa Ana, Argentina in September of 2019, and it did indeed surprise its owners, as it appeared to have a human face. The calf was born with a malformed skull, a small nose and mouth, and had difficulty holding its head up. It passed away within hours of this video, but farmers shared the footage online, sending the video viral. Speaking to local media, genetics expert Nicholas Manego said the calf might have possessed a rare genetic mutation. Similar incidents have been captured on video across the world, with a 2-headed calf with features to boot, 2 mouths and 4 eyes, in India earlier in 2019. Although not too unusual from a biological standpoint, I think we can all agree that looking into the sad-looking eyes of this calf, after knowing what happened to it, takes courage. If a tree falls on you in the forest and no one is around to hear you scream, do you make a sound? Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Essex Haunted, the Redditor explains that in Puckley, Kent, UK, there is a forest known as Daring Woods, otherwise known as the Screaming Woods. Legend has it, those who have passed there haunt the place with their screams. Although Essex posted only a personal pic, he linked to a video of said forest, which was published to YouTube in September of 2016 by Elsie Play Z. In the distance, you can really hear horrifying screaming from the depths of the forest.
Oh my days. Should we scream back at her?
The man in the video asks if they should scream back, and maybe that's just what this is. Live people having screaming matches back and forth at each other from opposite sides of the woods. Or maybe, like the Redditor suggests, there's another natural explanation. Responding to whether it could be some species of wild cat, Essex writes, more likely to do with the ways the trees are very closely grown and the wind, although in a later comment he adds, I've spent 3 nights there. In the last 2 months filming, some of the noises are just, well, hard to explain. According to Essex Ghost Hunters, the village of Puckley nearby is also one of the UK's most haunted ghost towns. So, nature or ghosts, do you have a better explanation for this screaming? Urban explorers Stacy and Cliff are exploring the abandoned Bryce Hospital, an Alabama asylum that is haunted as can be. Little do they know a shadow person is following them all the while and can be seen caught on video multiple times. When they first enter the building, a paranormal presence compels Stacy to not only look to her left, but to call out as well.
Hello?
A partially hidden shadow figure stands in the doorway. As soon as she says hello, the screen blurs like movement is near. She feels the need to look again, but this time the mysterious shadow figure is gone. On a different floor, they see a strange passing shadow move across the doorway, though this bizarre movement could simply be a trick of the light and not necessarily paranormal. With that said, a few minutes later is when they see the shadow figure one final time, a ghost in the doorway watching them without a word, and as Stacy turns around, the shadowy figure smooths out and mysteriously disappears. They finish exploring the hospital without another mysterious figure sighting. This old dormitory has a story to tell. According to the channel 01 Supernatural Studio, who published this video in February of 2022, this dormitory was left behind by a foreign company after an incident happened in this place. What type of incident though? Well, he doesn't go into detail, but considering the company left this place abandoned, it must not be a good one. Using thermotechnology along with an EMF meter, the ghost hunter quickly detects some energy here. As he's exploring the place, he's ascending the stairs when his EMF meter again detects an energy field. His thermotechnology spies what looks like a figure in the corner. Later, while he's standing still, he hears a faint noise coming from somewhere within the house. Who is there with him? Maybe this dorm hasn't been abandoned after all. A place where children were used as objects of experimentation by a madman? How could this asylum not be haunted? YouTube team The Paranormal Patch visit the Desjardins Children's Asylum, one of the worst in medical history. As they begin their investigation, they catch a disembodied voice on camera. They continue their search of the place, and around 3 a.m., the witching hour, they see a dark shadow. Deciding there's nothing there, they continue on, and while on an empty floor, Kaylee starts feeling scratches on her neck.
Let's look at it, because sometimes it'll get redder and redder. Where's it at? Point down. Is it red? That's where I felt it.
There is a deep scratch on her neck, but as the team is worried about the spirits coming to haunt them, it's the living they should be worried about.
Som det går så. Men then. Under thought.
Lisa.
Well, Kaylee keeps insisting the noises are a bat. I'm pretty sure people are squatting in this place. Or maybe it's the madman, Dr. Desjarnette, coming for them. Either way, that genuinely freaked me out. A man makes his way down the street without any clue as to the danger that's about to come straight his way. Everything looks as ordinary as possible, just another day on Stoke Newington High Street in London. There's no possible way you can predict what's going to happen next in this video. It's way too random, so even if you can tell me what direction the threat is about to come from, then I will be satisfied. He makes it past this cafe at 10 seconds, and literally 1 second later the entire roof comes tumbling down in a choking cloud of dust and jagged debris. Bricks litter the street just a few steps from where he just was. If he had done anything besides walk on by, like tying his shoes or looking in the window, then he would have been struck down on the spot with no hope of surviving. I mean, it really couldn't get any closer. The heel of his foot is literally still in the shot as the bricks begin to tumble. Only a psychic could have ever guessed the way this video ends. A YouTuber named Suspect Sky and his wife are convinced that something is waiting for them. Inside of their small closet, Suspect Sky slowly walks up to the closet and flings the door open, prepared for conflict, only to find nothing inside. They are relieved for just a moment, and then decide to get out of the house anyway. Something is still in there waiting for them. They think they can feel its presence, and just want to leave as fast as they can, and when they looked at the video again later, they found out they were absolutely correct. Numerous cameras around this home have captured paranormal activity, shared by YouTube channel G&D Studios. This is video proof of a haunting. The first instance is subtle.
Oh, they want to be. Then I cannot be going.
The next one, though, not so much. Then at around 3 in the morning, a bunch of noise is captured on camera, along with movement. Back in the kitchen, something is playing in the curtain. And back at the front door, something is playing in the jacket. In my opinion, this is some pretty straightforward footage. I think now's the time to invest in some sage. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Horrifyingly Haunted 3, this redditor wrote, "What the heck? Just peeked out from under the car. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about." There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Some viewers initially had trouble seeing the object, but after they did, some thought it could be a cat. Since the object moves so fast, I definitely think that could be a possibility. Alternatively, could it be something more nefarious, like something tampering with their car? Which side are you on here? Let me know in the comments. The Mulberry Rings in Dorchester, UK have a terrible history. YouTube team CVS Paranormal investigates this haunted place, and what they hear is disturbing.
We're not here to hurt you, we just want to communicate with you. You could do something.
To me, it sounded like a mix of voices and pigs grunting in the darkness. Shortly after, they hear footsteps in the grass nearby.
Oh, what? Side.
Then this creepy moan is heard.
If you are walking, did you hear that?
As one of the team feels something touch her head, children's laughter is heard in the background.
It's not like someone just touched my head.
They hear a rustling in the trees that they don't believe is the wind.
Like coming from over there just now. In the trees. Are you over by the trees? Can you hear it?
It does look like there's a breeze though, and it could just be an animal settling, but this next noise does not sound natural.
What was that? I don't know.
And then again they hear footsteps.
Yeah.
Is something stalking them in the darkness? The humming they hear suggests so.
Oh, it's really going now.
While I don't hear the humming sound in the end myself, I can hear all of the other unsettling noises in this clip. To me, the most disturbing part was the pig grunting and voices heard in the very beginning.
We're not here to hurt you, we just want to communicate with you. You could do something.
What do you think? A YouTube channel called Proper Good Games is streaming Pokemon when a game goes flying across the room off camera.
I thought when people ate quail, it was like eating a fancy.
They are both looking at each other and not moving at all when it happens, so it could not have been them. Then what she says next makes me feel like this happens all of the time. Do you believe her?
I'm not lying when I say ghost follow me around, right?
And when he goes to pick up the game, he lets out a gasp as the temperature into this part of the room suddenly grows very cold. Again, is this real or just good acting?
Oh, it's really cold weather.
Sure, it actually is.
All that's left behind is left to wilt in this abandoned house in the mountains. YouTuber Adam Mark Explores takes us on a journey into the past as he tours this haunting place. First, he comes across this old photograph.
Wow. Just mad thought to think that all these people have passed away now.
But it's as he heads toward the cupboard that he thinks the people in those photos are not long gone after all.
Oh my, what? Matt, the f***ing cupboard's just opened on its own.
No way.
I've got it on camera.
Let's see that again.
Oh my, what?
Did he maybe nudge the cupboard a bit upon approach? It's possible, but to me, his reaction sells it. I believe the cupboard popped open on its own without any help at all. Well, apart from the help of the ghost, of course. When strange things start happening inside your house, it's probably for a reason. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by the Dude 101. This video was originally published to YouTube by Truthfinder30330 in April of 2020. According to the title, paranormal occurrences have been happening in this man's home. The first odd thing you notice is that when the man walks into his living room, the door is shut while he's arranging his gaming console and things on his entertainment center. The door opens somehow. He heads over to look outside and check it out. After finding no one, he returns inside, and the door slams shut. He goes back outside, but there's no one there, no one inside either. As he's looking around outside again, the door slams shut and he's locked out. He peers inside, but there appears to be nothing. Now he has to go around to get back inside his house. He lifts his camera, catching himself in the sights, while also capturing something over his shoulder. What is that? As he continues walking, he says hello to someone on the street. He's at his front door again, which he unlocks with a key, and immediately this happens. Absolutely terrifying. Bet you can't handle this video. After renting a Verbo for the weekend, YouTube team FV Family winds up in this creepy cabin in the woods, and that's when things get real. They find a hole in the wall that may be there for nefarious purposes.
That's like perfect for a spy camera.
What do you think? What is this all about? And does it tie in with the possible secret entrance that they find in this cryptic room?
Entranceway. Oh, heck no.
I'm not sure, but things aren't adding up here, and this is looking like the B&B I don't want to stay at. When in Kentucky, Bobby Mackey's is a must on your pit stop through Wilder, as the honky-tonk place is often called the most haunted nightclub in America. And here's video to prove it, posted by 303 Paranormal TV to the Chills Narrator subreddit. He writes, a few clips of some paranormal evidence caught on my channel. The footage was taken at Bobby Mackey's, which according to legend, has been the site of both life-takings, takings of own lives, and of course hauntings. Folklore claims there's a gateway inside Bobby Mackey's, and it's haunted by the ghosts of people who passed away on site and nearby. One of the purported ghosts is that of Pearl Bryan, whose body was found around 2 miles away. According to some, those responsible put a curse on the site and said that they would haunt those who persecuted the case. Of course, all these claims are unsubstantiated. Pearl Bryan's life-taking is sadly true. No public records have been found to confirm Bobby Mackey's had any part in it, nor has the location's historical background regarding any other supernatural claims been verified. Regardless, some have captured paranormal experiences on tape at the site, including this video of a shadow figure moving across the wall in the empty club. Is there some truth in urban legends? Is this video proof of at least some unearthly presence here? I think I'd be too scared to ever find out for myself. Published to YouTube by Vision Paranormal in August of 2018, the channel writes in Spanish that an unidentified sense of fear was pressing upon employees at some government office in Mexico City. Some claim to have seen a monk on the grounds. The channel writes, always at dawn you can hear wailing and screaming until one day the security camera managed to capture that chilling being that scared them every night. Let's take a look. This image was captured in September of 2009 at 1:46 a.m. It appears to be a hooded paranormal figure descending the stairs and moving very slowly through the building. Could this be the so-called cursed monk who's creating such fear within? If so, what did he do to provoke such wailing and screaming? What you don't know can't hurt you, right? I've never seen a smoke ring do this. Redditor Dillinator40 shares this video originally posted by TikToker The Hall Family 2018. The smoke somehow has the power to overturn a hammock. Shortly after, you can see it return in the background. Although my mind is blown, Redditors have their theories as to what's going on here. If it's just vapor, how would you explain the hammock turning over? I don't know if it's smoke or something more substantial. If you've ever had something in your home act out of character, then you might feel Alex Huff's pain. The TikToker appears to be doing an everyday makeup tutorial when her wardrobe starts to creak open.
I use the Milani 05 Soleil. So I'm going to try that on.
And then suddenly slams shut and bursts open again. The room's light above goes out, and then, as she's peering into the wardrobe, that light falls dim as well. Alex posted a second video showing that no one is inside or outside the wardrobe, and yet it's creaking again. In the third video, she's getting her room saged to get rid of whatever evil entity lies within. Burning sage is said to provide a spiritual cleansing for the home. Hopefully it did rid of the bad energy, and Alex can go back to doing her makeup tutorials in peace. Based on the events happening here though, I wouldn't be surprised if that house is legitimately haunted. Here's a scary basement we should all probably get out of. Published to YouTube by an everyday Canadian in April of 2016. The Canadian says in the clip he heard a banging in the basement that wasn't the washer or dryer. His kids are asleep upstairs, and he's freaked out about the sounds coming from below. As he heads downstairs to the unfinished basement, you hear immediately what he's talking about. A loud bang in the darkness is heard off to his right. Still, he continues to descend. After turning his light on, he scans the room. The light catches a small toy shopping cart in one corner of the room that's apparently not supposed to be there, judging by the man's reaction. The little cart then starts moving on its own before zooming across the room towards him.
What the was that? What the
This is where the video ends abruptly. We hope that the everyday Canadian made it out alive. While walking a wooded trail near their house, Redditor Angel of Souls 25 hears a strange sound. Listen closely. Do you hear it? They believe it sounds like a siren of some sort, and to add to the creepiness, according to the Redditor, a group of crows converged shortly after. Many in the comments don't think it's necessarily paranormal though. I think this Redditor is probably right, but without knowing the natural explanation, seeing crows descend after hearing this would amplify the creepy factor by at least 10 times. An unexplained video caught on Doorbell cam reveals a mysterious stranger that many think could be a ghost. The strange figure disappears off camera at 3 minutes and 56 seconds, and when he comes back 2 seconds later, there is a bizarre image trailing behind him that I don't think was there before. A lot of people are saying this is a ghost video because RVA Flip sells a lot of stuff on eBay and has come across his fair share of weird stuff that could be haunted, so maybe one of his possessions had a ghost attached. This is what he looks like, and a closer look at what the ghost looks like. It looks good at first, but I find it strange how both he and the ghost he saw seem to look similar and are about the same size. I'm wondering if this is a real ghost video like he says, or if he made a fake ghost video using himself as the subject. Look at the two figures and tell me what you see. Is this a ghost sighting, or is there no possible way? A YouTuber named Alone in the Dark takes a 2-hour tour of a haunted hospital that has been out of commission for a long time. He repeatedly hears noises and gets signs that he is not alone, like here for example, when you can see a light appear out of nowhere in response to his voice.
Seems I hear ringing.
At one point on an upper floor, he finds a long streak of dried red liquid running down the wall from a nearby ceiling vent. It almost looks like someone was grabbed from above by something terribly strong and pulled up into the ventilation duct, where they met a horrible fate.
Looks like blood.
Something else strange about this video is how all of the cabinet doors that he passes by seem to be flung open. Cabinets opening by themselves is a classic sign of a haunting, so take that for what you will. When he is finally ready to leave, the paranormal events really pick up in ways you'll never guess.
There's a lot more going on in this thing.
First, he hears an ambulance pull up to the defunct hospital, and then he sees shimmering lights on the ground. It could just be broken glass reflecting into the beam of his flashlight, but then again, it could be a paranormal energy signature. Either way, the timing of the ambulance siren is too much of a coincidence for me to believe this was anything normal. YouTube team Rota X Investigaso Paranormal are exploring a haunted hospital in this scary video. Upon entering, they soon get a reading.
Caramba, muito forte, né?
Oh. Chegamos al meio.
As they wander the place, the readings continue dramatically.
Tem como ele tá assim? Ó.
Vamos. Pode acompanhar a equipe, tá? Sem problema. Pode vir junto com a gente.
They hear a voice down a hallway. It sounds like a child's voice to me. They then see a light in the darkness.
Dá licença. Vai ter uma das partes mais pesadas que tem, entendeu? Vai estar cheio de infiltração no chão aqui.
É, tá vindo, o teto tá meio...
It appears to be flickering outside the window. Using a paranormal device, they capture a figure in the corner.
Costa ali o... Aí é?
Você lanterna, diria lanterna, cliente.
Ah, tá. Essa parte aqui tem muita comunicação.
It looks to be child-sized. They continue to get wild readings from various devices.
São muitos, cara. São muitos.
Aqui, ó.
Muito forte a presença, cara. É incrível.
Se eu te falar que nesse aparelho aqui, mano, apareceu um fantasma de...
Sério?
É.
And something appears right on one of the team's shoulders.
Você faleceu aqui nesse hospital, é isso? Qual foi o ano que você faleceu aqui?
Again, they capture a figure standing in a corner.
Tá vendo barulho aqui, né? Parece que tem passos aqui, velho. Passos.
Is the spirit on timeout? That idea would line up with the child's voice we heard earlier. Well, I didn't witness anything paranormal with just my eyes. All of these devices do seem to be sensing paranormal energies here. A kid feels suddenly and inexplicably watched from the front door. He looks through the peephole and can't believe what he sees. He grabs his phone to show us that his apartment is haunted by a ghost. It looks like something scary is peeking at him from around the corner. It's creepy beyond belief, but look at this bright fluorescent light. I think he's using the light to bend a basic lens flare into the appearance of a figure. If so, then this video could help explain how a lot of other supposed ghost sightings were really just tricks of light caught on camera. But if that's not the case, then I have no explanation for what he managed to record that night. YouTuber Extinct File encounters the ghost of the Poco Aunties in this creepy video. As the team explores the abandoned place, they spot the ghost in a doorway.
Donde dormían.
No inventes, güey. Cámara 2, güey. Hola.
A little further along, they capture an unexplained sound.
No puede ser, güey. La madre.
And then another. They believe the spirit here was pregnant.
En el estómago. Quizá estaba embarazada, güey.
Estabas embarazada.
They then hear wailing in the distance. It continues for minutes. After a while, the crying stops, but then starts up again. And then this happens.
No mames, güey. No mames, cámara 2. Güey, ¿qué pedo? No mames.
When they enter the enclosure, the figure is gone. Where did she go? I'm convinced they truly encountered the ghost of the Pokuantes, and if they did, they'd better hope these spirits didn't attach themselves. The world's oceans hold both wonders and terrors. People got a glimpse of an example of such mysteries on November 11, 2007, 7,800 feet down the Gulf of Mexico. The Perdido oil drilling site sent a camera down for a routine inspection when it caught something unexpected. A bizarre creature swam only a few feet away from the rig, sporting unfathomable features. By far the most eye-catching of them were its long tentacles reaching far down below its body. It almost appears to be looking right at the camera, staring and observing just as being observed. Many commenters have likened it to an alien, with some even joking it is an offspring of Cthulhu. The truth is, thankfully, more simple and far less scary. What was actually filmed is known as a big fin squid, a relatively newly discovered species. It was first documented in September 1988 off the coast of Brazil. Due to the depth at which it lives, sightings are rare, and there is still much about it left to be discovered. In fact, it is still unknown how these animals feed, but it is believed they use their long tentacles to drag against the seafloor to catch organisms to feed off. It is also believed they wait for small plankton to bump into them to eat. Such creatures make stories of sea monsters from folklore make much more sense. For centuries, the idea of the giant squid was a myth until it was proven as a real species, with larger, colossal squid also discovered. With an estimated 80% of the ocean left unexplored, there is bound to be thousands or millions more discoveries of all sorts of odd yet magnificent species out there. Ghosts appear in the unlikeliest of places. Published to YouTube in February of 2012, Mad Mupp writes, "This is actual unedited security camera footage recorded by myself using my phone. The gate captured in the security footage is locked with a padlock. According to Mad Mupp, the padlock was firmly locked 5 minutes earlier, and someone working in the warehouse had gone to the keys, and then this happened." The CCTV footage shows the gate being pushed roughly, then you can see the padlock unlocking and twisting open on its own, allowing the gates to swing wide. There's absolutely no one around. Is this the work of a warehouse ghost who just doesn't want to punch out, or is it something not paranormal altogether? But it seems like it just can't be explained to me. This urban exploration video comes to you from Thailand, and the title of this video roughly translates into English as "Abandoned House in the Middle of the Forest No One Dared to Explore." This modest looking home holds some strange and bizarre things that are worth taking a closer look at. Secrets I doubt we can explain. He stumbles upon an oversized shoe print. Translate his observations if you can.
นี่ก็น่าจะเป็นตรงนี้เป็นไม้ครับแต่ตรงนี้ผมสังเกตดูว่ามันจะมีเหมือนรอยเท้า
In the next room are two equally old footprints, even bigger and wider now.
แล้วข้างในก็จะเป็นโอ้ยนี่มีรอยเท้าด้วยครับมีรอยเท้าด้วยครับผม
The same person has apparently removed their shoes to walk barefoot for some reason across this disgusting floor. It's like they grew out of their shoes or something. Almost like a bizarre transformation took place. Some people are saying that this is an unfinished house, while others say this looks like a crematorium. I don't know why either one would be in the middle of the forest, but I do know this is a creepy situation that I hope we can piece together and better explain. Beware of where the Randonautica app may lead. Published a TikTok by Haley AIG in August of 2020. The app led this unfortunate group into a forest, and they weren't alone. Haley explains that the app took them to a park in the middle of nowhere. As the camera pans around, she notes that they've only seen trees so far, but they seem to have missed this figure poking its head out from behind one of those trees as they wander across a wooden bridge. This forlorn, dark-haired figure dressed in black crosses the path at the end of a dirt road. The girls wander on, and all you can see is the ground for a moment as they wonder if they're being followed, and then it's clear that they are. While many TikTokers are loving this, Austin Payton writes, "I may or may not have fallen off of my bed," while others claim that their souls left their bodies and they threw their phones across the room. Haley writes, "I deleted the Randonautica app after. That's probably for the best." The Mengier Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, claims to be one of the most haunted areas in the entire state, and there are plenty of videos to back up this statement. One of these videos involves a brother and sister who both suddenly get a strange feeling from the building and decide to start recording. They are exploring a very small and cramped area of the hotel. As they are discussing the possibilities out loud, the woman suddenly announces that she is extremely uncomfortable. You can't see it very well at first, but soon the camera zooms in and reveals 3 deep scratches along the woman's bare shoulder. They look fresh and sting badly. She says that she was simply sitting on the steps for just one moment, and the jagged marks appeared as soon as she stood up. Judging from this video, it looks as though she may have been literally cut by an angry ghost. While visiting the morgue of this abandoned hospital, YouTubers The Fam and Oh My Gosh TV start to feel very cold. Their search begins outside, where James shares some of the horrifying history of this place.
Looked up some pictures of this place, and there used to be about 2,000 crosses right here. So they actually buried the dead bodies right here. And I'm a little worried because it looks like they were dug up or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but...
As they continue inside, he's shocked that he barely missed stepping to his demise.
Yeah, that's electrical panels. Okay.
What? Oh, I didn't even see that. What the? You just... Whoa! How did it...
Alright, look. New rule. You have to stand right by my side, okay?
They then hear something creepy.
I heard that. I heard a noise. I don't know what it was.
Well, I didn't hear what they did. The next noise is undeniable.
Oh, no. I don't know, dude. Was it finale?
I can't say for sure, but after hearing that, I'd surmise that there's something very much alive in this abandoned morgue. Warning, if you buy this flat, you'll have an unwanted roommate. Published by Seeker of Ghosts in April of 2022. The paranormal investigator is trying to communicate with the passed on through a spirit box when this happens. The spirit then sends him a clear message, but he doesn't listen. So the poltergeist tries to warn him further. The lights continue to flicker as the spirit box goes haywire.
В тот момент мне стало очень страшно.
Then he asks what the spirit's name is to no avail. Rather than answer, the spirit gets angrier.
What is this thing?
Охренеть.
He apparently doesn't like anyone prying into his personal life. He even comes to visit.
Ой, ж у меня опять сейчас что-то не полетело.
Did this paranormal investigator overstay his welcome? It seems he was never welcome here at all. Redditor Comfortable Cry 8097 heard a noise while in bed. When she checked out her Ring camera the next morning, this is what she saw. First, a noise is heard. Now watch the back center near the banister. What is that? To most in the comments, it looks like a full-bodied ghost, and it sounds like it's causing even more mayhem in the home. According to the Redditor, the figure was heading toward her bedroom, but the door remained shut. Well, most agree that it's a ghost, and I concur. Some suggest this could be a compressed artifact or some other camera glitch, but what of the noise? That one is not so easily explained. A man is testing out his GoPro when a mysterious sea creature is caught on camera in deep waters. Look closely behind him. You'll just barely see a small black object move in the waves before mysteriously disappearing back to wherever it came. He suspects this bizarre sighting could have been anything from a great white to an orca whale, or something smaller like an otter or a seal is not out of the question. That's a big difference and not something you'd want left up to your imagination while floating on a kayak by yourself with nothing around for miles. The creature does not resurface and ultimately leaves them alone. He's not sure which mysterious creature is responsible for this suspenseful moment caught on GoPro, but there's always a chance of an even closer encounter next time. A YouTube channel called Kiwi in Japan has the creepy encounter of a lifetime that leaves everyone screaming with fear and excitement in the kitchen.
Oh, that's freaky. That's so scary. Oh, yuck.
With a bowl in one hand and a piece of paper in the other, he hatches a plan to cover the spider and slip the paper underneath to contain it. It doesn't end well.
You ready? I'm sorry.
Hold down. I'll get up there.
What is it?
At 1 minute and 14 seconds, the spider literally jumps out of the way and almost lands on his arm. He's wearing no gloves and a short sleeve shirt when it happens, meaning he's completely vulnerable. Fortunately, it's more interested in finding shelter than battling back. It's fast enough to evade him 3 more times, but with legs that long, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. After a final showdown in the closet, he apprehends the arachnid and sends it back on its way to nature with a final toss. I bet they're really glad to have gotten rid of it. I don't think I could still live someplace where I saw a spider take up a whole entire room of a corner before. At least not until it was taken out of the house, and I'm definitely not sure if I would have been brave enough to try and capture it. Talk about scary stuff. This car is making its way down the BKE Expressway in Singapore when it manages to catch the split-second image of what could be a paranormal hitchhiker searching for its next ride. The ghostly presence looks too tall to be a normal human being, and its limbs look too long as well. Though I guess this stretched appearance could be an optical illusion from being captured at a high rate of speed. Some people even say it looks like they are floating. I want to hear your opinion, so let me know if you agree. This YouTuber is exploring a cave in an undisclosed location when he sees something that freezes him in place. He steadies the camera and slowly zooms into the darkness. Staring back at him are 2 white eyes that are large and spaced far apart, signifying a large creature with a well-developed brow. The timing of his reaction seems very real and not staged. Also, this is the only video on the channel and it's from 2016. I did think that this video was fake at first because the name of the channel is Pro Films, but then I realized it just means he was recording with a GoPro. Also, this is the only video on the channel and it's from 2016. I'm just saying that if this was a fake channel, then there would probably be more videos similar to this one, but there's nothing else. This footage comes from a convenience store in India after it was captured by an old security camera late one night. An orb glows with bright intensity as it glides around the empty store at random. The next day, a group of workers watch the tapes in amazement. I normally don't include orb videos because they tend to look all the same to me, but this video looks a little different. First, it seems to match the same grainy footage of the CCTV system very well. Second, the sides of the orb appear to be shimmering in a random pattern that would be hard to fake. If anyone can translate what they are saying in this video, then please let me know. Also, tell me if it sounds like they are legitimately surprised or just acting. Their haunted home had been quiet for weeks, but then the YouTube team G&D Studios took out the Halloween-themed houses called Spooky Town. Once they'd been unpacked, the poltergeist activity in their home ramped up. That literally jumped out of her hand, and it does it again. Did it slip? Or is something fishy going on here? After that, she gives up. In another clip, the poltergeist becomes even more aggressive. A few minutes later, this happens. And then, even stranger, what's going on here? It looks 100% paranormal to me. And the first step to calming it is to pack up that Halloween spooky town and light it on fire. On occasion, don't believe what you see. Sometimes your eyes really can deceive you. TikToker Rebecca explains that a previous video that appeared to show a child at the window in this haunted mansion was actually just a prop. TikTokers urged Rebecca to call the authorities, saying it looked like this individual was being held captive, but when Rebecca zooms in on the window in question, the head is clearly that of a mannequin. Some still find the catch extremely jarring. Kat writes, "You zoomed in and my heart just stopped." Some thank Rebecca for giving viewers closure, while others say it's even scarier knowing it's a mannequin. Real or not, whoever placed this thing here has a dark sense of humor. Watch the left side of your screen for something creepy. A large figure is bouncing up and down at the side of the road trying to get their attention. What they see when they drive past leaves them creeped out for life. This screenshot taken at exactly 7 seconds shows a weird fish-like head turning one oversized eye towards the camera for a closer look. I was thinking this could be like a company mascot or something, but they aren't standing in front of a business, and they aren't holding a sign. Has this car full of friends caught an authentic unknown creature sighting on camera like they claim? I wish they would have driven back around for another look, but I can understand them not wanting to risk it. The story of Sally in the Wood goes something like this. Located outside Bath in Somerset, there's a road that passes into the woodland of Brown's Folly, which locals refuse to drive down after dark due to the terrifying legend surrounding it, known by locals as Sally in the Wood. It is said that no birds can be heard chirping through this stretch of the forest, as a girl has her life taken there and now haunts the place. Some say they've heard a screaming child in the dark forest, and some have seen a full-bodied apparition of a girl racing into the road at night. The legends are all over the place about Sally in the Woods. According to some, Sally was an 18th century gypsy girl who was held captive in a tower, where she perished. The website Wiltshire Paranormal claims that this story is entirely fictional, and that the name Sally in the Woods more likely came from a battle that occurred at Brown's Folly in 1643. As Sally is slang for skirmish, this could very well be true. However, the Bathford Society claims that Sally was an actual person, but not the only one who passed away in a tower. This legend claims that Sally was a witch, living in a hut in the woods. Local records put Sally's passing at the age of 100, although that wouldn't really explain her appearance as a young girl ghost, unless Sally the witch had the ability to appear youthful. Regardless of what you choose to believe, the generational legend of Sally in the Woods lives on, and the resulting fear can be felt throughout this video, published to YouTube by the Abandoned Prepper in March of 2020. Examining various parts of the house up close, the Abandoned Prepper wanders through this haunted place solo. Some parts of the house appear deeply aged, while others recall the more recent past. There's an old piano, a strange lock on the door, and an old photo box in the basement that appears as though they're from another century, but other parts of the home look as though they're from the 60s or 70s. Prepper says that he can hear water running and regularly hears strange noises. Shortly after entering, there's a definite sound of glasses clinking about upstairs while he is downstairs.
Hey, this is massive. I'm getting a bit scared now. Hello?
Prepper calls out to alert anyone else exploring the house to his presence. He also said the house has recently become a hotspot for urban explorers. He returns to the first floor, and then upstairs to the second. He keeps hearing strange noises throughout. Birds are chirping and the sound of running water.
What? Someone's flooded in the basement.
He compares the house to Amityville and says it definitely gives him bad vibes. While he explores the adjacent house, at one point he enters a room. Notice there's no blue ball here. He heads upstairs and there's a loud sound of something wooden slamming or falling down. When he returns to that same room later, there's a blue ball in the middle of it. The call is coming from inside the house. He also finally discovers where the sound of running water was coming from. The basement of the house is being flooded. There's a hose passing down there, so it looks like it was done intentionally. As he's getting ready to head out of the home, he turns the corner to descend the stairs. That's when you hear the strike of a piano key.
Off. Hello?
While at the same time the hallway light bulb is swinging back and forth, he races down to catch whoever struck the cord, but there's no one. Finally outside, he turns back to look at the dark shell of a house. You can literally feel the creepiness shed away from you. While exploring this haunted place, YouTuber Rodolfo Augusto and his crew are trying to escape the creature. Let's see if they do. They find a mysterious jar inside the home, but as they're examining it, a bang is heard.
Alguém abre?
Não sei. Opa, cacete.
Quem tá aí?
Eu acho que é o vento, mano. Tá vendo? Ó, aí ali, ó. Ó.
They try to open the jar, but again hear a noise.
Não é vento, não.
Você vai tacar um negócio?
Foi reação.
They push this door open, but are too scared to enter.
Tem alguém aqui? Ui! Isso aí não é vento, não.
And yet it won't stop.
É vento.
Que aquilo, velho?
Que é aquilo ali na porta?
That's when they finally see it.
Eu vi.
That's all I need for my dreams to forever be nightmares. This video was apparently taken in Bangalore, India. A motorcyclist with a GoPro is riding late at night. It appears to be a desolate rural road with no street lights. Soon the motorcyclist approaches something on the side of the road that is glowing white, taking no chances. He speeds past and then apparently uploads the footage at a later time. Normally, I'd say this is someone covered in a sheet. I don't think that would explain why it's literally glowing white though. Due to the glow, I would say there is a good chance this is actually paranormal. A YouTuber named Randonautica Mago is positive that his house is haunted, and he claims to have the evidence to back it up. The kid's toy moves across the table and I don't see a string. Then a bottle falls off the table. There are no shadows coming from the other room when it happens. No one is around. And right before it happens, this strange traveling light appears. Looks paranormal to me. 4 days later, he catches this object moving all by itself. This one I find a little harder to believe, because I feel like it's definitely in their grandma's line of sight. I mean, how could you miss a bright green reflective bag doing 360s for almost a full minute is beyond me. She must have been fully absorbed in her show. I have my doubts about this one, but at the same time I don't know how they're doing it, so maybe it's real. This final video taken almost a year later is perhaps the oddest of all. This hanging ornament begins moving in place with nothing to help get it started. Yes, it's by an open window, but there's no wind. The leaves on this plant don't move, and neither does this towel hanging over a chair. And it's not the air conditioner either, because this connected red string doesn't move at all. And if you're still not convinced, take a listen. At 1 minute and 20 seconds, this phantom light reflects across the stereo glass, though to be fair, it could just be a member of the family. What if you walked into a grocery store and the man across the aisle did this? Published to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Calligram, this video will make you cringe and then maybe throw up a little in your mouth. This is not an illusion. The man in this video, Alexander, is a Russian gymnast who can turn his head 180 degrees. During gymnastics, he discovered that his body was incredibly flexible, particularly his vertebrae. He wanted to test how far this flexibility could go, so he decided to push himself. Alexander explains, I worked on this step by step, going a little further each time, and one day I was able to turn my head all the way around. When I do, it takes energy from my whole body. The complete 180 is like a horror movie. It only took some practice for the gymnast to twist his head around like an owl, but that's not true for just anyone. Alexander's doctor suggests the next swiveling ability is not an act that you can train for. He thinks the trait is congenital. The doctor recommends not to try this at home. For Alexander, though the party trick takes complete concentration to pull off, the act fills his body with a strange energy, and he doesn't feel like himself in the moment. Still, he calls it absolutely normal, and says the twisty neck doesn't hurt one bit. Funny, it hurts me just to see it.